Good morning, YouTube. I've been in to the chicken coop to get the first egg of the day. Pretty soon we're gonna have breakfast and come back out here and get started right away on cob. As you know, I am fast and furious. I don't know if fast is the right word to get this. I'm determined to get this pole barn done. I'm over halfway up on the walls now. This is an 8-foot post in the corners. All the posts are corners, and I'm to my shoulder on this wall. So that is very exciting to me. So I'm going to keep trucking on this today in this video. And then eventually, once this is closed in, all of this stuff we keep having to cover and keep out of the sun and rain, all the little building supplies, conventional or otherwise, will have a permanent home. I'm so excited. So John's going to be, we're going to be unloading the trailer today because we have John's going to start working on the framing around the door opening where we're going to be doing our garage door here. So he's going to work on that. I will stop cobbing intermittently as he needs me so we can sort of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, get this thing moving along, keep a good pace for it. So that's our main focus today. Who knows what may also come up? We never really know what we're going to get into around here as the course of a day goes. So we're going to just get started and see what happens. Thanks for joining us again for the next update at Wiki Up NOLA, and we'll be checking in a little bit. Okay, here's John. He's making our supports outside the north wall. We're using a 2x4 or 2x6, excuse me, there as well. Sorry for my dirty gloves. As well as up here. And then on the inside right now, what he's got, he's cut a 2x4 and he's putting it as a nailer on top of the cob area where I was working. So he's going to be fitting that in there, and basically he's going to make it so that we can support this board out here to this 2x4, so that if in the future we ever need to replace this support board, we can take it off and there will be a nailer embedded in the wall, in the cob wall in there. So that, and two, we're going to be using this this support out here is going to have a table attached to it on hinges that folds up against the wall to another board up here at the top, so that it has something to hook to hang there, and then it'll have legs when it folds down, so we can basically do just what John's doing here on the sawhorses. We'll just have ourselves a permanent table out here to work in the shade. It's hot today. We're both in our sun shirts and in the shade it's very comfortable. So this will be a shaded area to work. He's making that possible, and it's a 2x6, and in order to keep it from pulling, because we can only connect it here and down at the corner, we're creating that nailer to go on the inside of the board. So we're going to keep working. He's going to cut that one. Gotta love a jigsaw. So he got that one in, and then he's going to put that in. We're going to keep going. I'm doing cob. I've now made it to there. I'm going to keep going across and then all the way over here. And then by the time I get to this wall, I should be able to shove cob around the support that he's put in here and then continue up the wall from there. So we're moving right along. I'm very excited. This is now shoulder high all the way to there. Feels like a totally different space every time I go a row around. I'm very excited about this building. Okay, we just got back from lunch. I did a batch there. I've got another one ready. I'm about to make it around this wall, and then I'm going to start this section. I'll show you a close-up of what that turned out to be. This is the north wall, which I have been holding off on doing. Now I'm going to come in once I finish this wall, and I'm going to wet this down real good and then fill the void underneath this 2x4. This is now framed it's connected to this 2x6 on the outside so that it's like a bracket. So you can see it's connected to the wall. It's toe-nailed in here. And then this 2x6 is actually screwed through to this as a nailer. So I'm going to come in and I'll fill this void with cob, and then you can see the cob actually comes out beyond it from the top. So I'm going to build around it and then fully encase this 2x4 and then continue up the wall all the way to the ceiling, just like I am the other walls now. And that will be our future nailer, and it's very solid now against the outside. So this board on the outside will be able to support our work table and hinges and all of the movement that will take place on that without fiddling with our earthen wall. So that'll be nice. John is over here feverishly measuring and doing all of the measurement things for the garage door. So I'm going to move the camera out of his way, and I'm going to put it back here and let you guys watch him on time lapse. He's going to use 2x6s. He's going to have a 2x6 threshold across the bottom, and then our garage door is 8 feet wide, right, John?
8 feet.
8 feet wide, and our opening is just maybe an inch under 10 feet wide. So he's going to need to build some boxes on each side to frame out so that on the outside of the wall we can cob up to the edge of the door, and then it'll make the framing and then a header across the top to support the garage door. So he's going to be working on that. I'm going to continue with mud until he calls for me and needs me to hold something if he needs it. And he's taken down our list, very good list that we've been working from. We're almost done with it. And so you'll see what we're doing in fast motion, and then I'll pick it back up in a little while to show you what we've gotten accomplished. All right, good morning, YouTube. It is the next day. It got windy yesterday afternoon and low light, so we didn't show everything. I did get around all the way on the pole barn over here, and I was able to put the clay slip on the interior board here, and I pretty much, I think you can tell even with the shadows, I got everything backfilled up to that point. And then today my goal is to come back over and come over top of that, at least one row. And I'll be, if I can get up to like one row above this 2x4, I should be, making gains, because I didn't do this row for several rounds, and you can see the difference of how high I've made it. So we're about shoulder high all the way around. On this round, once I get to the high parts, I will be using this step. I lowered it down to the bottom. So definitely it's going to be more comfortable to step up on that now. We have that much more to go. We're so close. So that's really exciting. You also probably noticed in the time lapse that John is busy framing in what's going to be our garage door opening. It looks amazing. He's got the header started. It's a little more challenging for what he's doing here because or at least for us, when we've normally built a wall or a header or an opening like this, you build it on the ground and you can like pop it in. But he's building to existing framing sort of, so he's having to make sure he can kind of retrofit into a space. He's got this propped up at the bottom. It's attached and everything, but we're trying to keep it from bowing and all that while we're doing it. What we're going to be doing on the back of this board is we still have to add it's like a lip for the door to actually rest on. This is the threshold, and then there'll be like a 2x4 behind it that'll be vertical. It'll support some of the weight of this, and then from the front area we'll be backfilling with dry stone or rubble, just like we did under the other parts of the foundation, and then it will be cobbed in the front. And then there'll be a gap here that he's building out, but the front face will be cobbed all the way up to the garage door. So we'll get to that later, but just to show you, this is the process. It's starting. We're very excited about that. And also the interior floor You can see we have a slope here, which you've noticed in other videos, but our floor will be filled in with dirt to the level of the threshold too. So it'll be up to the level, and then we'll have stall mats in here for our floor surface when it's all said and done, because it's a shed, it's a workspace. So that's what we'll be doing. We have a couple other things going on today. Little Sam, our neighbor dog, has to go to the vet. John's gonna be taking him. He's been down here already waiting by the door as if he knows. And then we also have a delivery, and we'll talk to you about that right now. All right, John is loading barrels this morning. You may recognize the barrels from a couple of weeks ago. He got them off Facebook Marketplace. They're empty right now. Makes them light. But they have sealable lids. We're hoping that these barrels will carry or hold all of our chicken feed for the whole year. We should be getting our delivery today, and we're not sure if the delivery truck is going to be coming all the way up here to our house, if it's small enough. If it's big, like the one that did our VersaTube greenhouse delivery, we'll have to meet them down at the main road. And if we do that, we have to offload the feed into the barrels down there, because the 1,000-pound tote is going to be way too heavy for my tractor to carry all this way. So we're going to load up the tractor or the trailer and get ready for that delivery, and then we will update you with whatever comes next. So looks like we got an update on the delivery for chicken feed. We have the trailer loaded over there and ready to go. Also going to follow down with the tractor when it's time, but it looks like he's about an hour out, maybe. So we're going to continue on the pole barn while we wait till we get more definitive word. John's working on that threshold area. I'll be working on a batch of cob on this north wall. So I'm just going to set up that time lapse and let y'all watch us scurry around. Okay, so you just saw John adding the vertical part. I don't know what it's called because we're sort of making this part up to the back of the threshold board. This way, when our garage door comes down, we do have a standard opening width, but what happens with this garage door, it needs some like headroom up here in order for the track system. If you've seen a garage door, it has it turns to a 90 degree, but the 90 degree is actually curved up here. And you can probably see it better from here. We do have a slope to our roof here. Here is a straight line, and then the rafters, there is a pitch to the roof, a slight pitch for rain collection. So it sort of changes, the depth that we may need for that track system may be a little different. So we're sort of having to finagle with the door a little bit. We may have to trim one of the panels. We're not sure. So John is following instructions. He always does the complicated stuff, and I play with mud. I really like this arrangement. He's reading the manual and making adjustments for our specific needs. So we're going to see kind of as we go how it turns out. And this is one of those adjustments. We are not installing on a cement floor. Obviously, this is a dirt floor. And usually you have a threshold on a cement floor, or the floor itself is solid across. And so the door will actually be framed on the inside of our framing and then rest on the cement floor. We don't have a cement floor. So we're creating a resting place for the door with this 2x4 back here. And it also adds rigidity to our threshold, and that threshold we are trying to keep it from dirt contact by what's going to have cob on it, so it'll have dirt contact essentially, but we're going to be filling with dry stone rubble underneath there. He's gone to gather the stones right now, and putting our rubble and our cob up under there may have a tendency to push up or bow that threshold board up, and the 2x4 mounted vertically on the back will give us some rigidity and keep it from wanting to do that. Just like here where we did that and made a nailer for it. Here is the progress on this section. So I'm doing a few batches on here, and I'm putting the cob on just the 2x4 section of it. I think if you can see it this way, this is yesterday's cob. It's fairly set, still wet. You can still see the dark color. This is the previous cob from before. It's hard and dry. So today I'm actually first batch I'm filling on top of the 2x4, and then the next batch, as I'm going to finish across here, and then the next batch I do with this, I'm going to come in and fill here and connect. I'm sort of making this hang over a little bit. I think you can see it, so that it'll dry kind of hanging over. And then everything I stack up here will kind of bridge over to this and encapsulate this slick wood surface here. So that's what I'm going for. I'm putting the first stack up along here, and then I'm gonna build the two like that, so that I don't build something here and then it has nothing to hold to. It would just peel away if it was just stacked up against here. So I'm sort of giving it something to grab onto vertically and bond to clay, and then this will just be encapsulated. So that's what I'm working on right now. I think I have at least one more batch to go to this far, and then 2 more batches to do that like growing encapsulating part. So that's what I'm working on. We have been watching for updates on the feed delivery. Still got the vehicle up there and ready, and we'll do that when the time comes, and you'll get to see that as it happens. So I'm going to keep on working on this, and then I will update you when the next update is available. All right, John is busy putting together the rocks underneath. He's actually putting them against the back side, because this side will be backfilled with packable soil, as you can see we've done in some of the other areas. And the front side, he's bringing the rocks out a bit and stacking them in there and keeping it level as we go so it doesn't bow up. And then we'll be doing the cob just like we're doing on the other sections over here. And then I think I mentioned in an earlier video, this section that I have just cobbed in will also have additional rocks outside, because I want the plaster to kind of bow out from the bottom and almost in a way act as a buttress to the very straight narrow walls that I have, the earthen walls that I have in there, just to kind of buttress it. And the training wheels, as I've called them in another video, the netting that I have around here will bond through to the exterior cob and create just more support for these fairly narrow walls. These walls are only 6 inches thick. A lot of cob buildings have much thicker walls. We do have bags, and again, these bags, the name of the game, what they say is round is sound. This is not a round building. This is a straight wall, and it's a 10-foot section. So, you know, just to give myself some insurance, I've got this netting and framing around the outside, and I'm going to pull on the wall toward the outside and slope it up on the outside to act sort of as a buttress to this narrow wall over time. So he's doing a little bit of that backfill down here, and we'll be building that out. And actually there'll be sort of a cob type ramp coming out here where we can roll things in and out, use the tractor to put things in and out, so that this threshold won't be such a jump up like it is now. In here I'm mixing another batch of cob. What's the name of the game today? Cob. I've started to come in and backfill, make that little bridge, as you can see there. I made it all the way across to the post down there, and as this sets up just a little bit, this is today's cob, so it's definitely not dry, but it's definitely firming up as we go, firm enough to kind of help me grab on additional layers as I go. The length of time it takes me to mix another batch, I can add layers to that. We got word on the delivery that we're waiting on. It is going to be with a big 18-wheeler, so we will have to go down to the road and try to transfer some of the feed to our trailer. So we'll be working on that. That's probably the next thing you'll see us doing, and then we'll come back and update you on what we've gotten accomplished in this space. Hope you're enjoying the video so far, and I will check back with you guys in a little while. Well, good morning. It's the next morning. I have empty barrels, empty pallets. There goes Sam. He's going back home, I think. Yeah, so we waited yesterday for our delivery, and we actually went out to the main road, which is probably, I think it's about a mile, maybe less, maybe 3/4 of a mile from right here out to the main road. And we had to take the tractor, which takes a while to get out there at the slow speed. And we're sitting there. And then finally, close to dark, we get a message that says they are not going to make it today, or yesterday. And that's the way it goes. Sometimes we live remote. We live out in the rural area. A lot of times deliveries were on the end of the route, so they don't always make it. So we did not get our feed yesterday. They're saying they're going to attempt again next week. We may end up going and picking it up ourselves with the trailer in the big city. So we'll work on that. I wanted to close out the video and show you what we did get done. Here is the framing. John has made it up to this far. Again, he is having to really finagle with this framing because it's a kind of a special installation. So we're going to see how it goes and what we need to adjust on the garage door as time goes. We did get this one area framed in. This is an area that we're going to do a straw slip, a clay straw mixture in there so that I can plaster all the way over, because the garage door will actually start back in here. It'll be mounted on the back of this. So we'll see that more as it comes, but he is making amazing progress. It's looking great. I got even further on that side. I'm going to continue this today and keep on going. And I hope that you enjoyed this update as much as I enjoyed seeing it myself and doing it. And we will catch you back here next week at Wickiup Knoll.